Yes, we can. 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 É que eu sei. É que eu sei. É que eu sei. É que eu sei.
So, yeah,
Yes.
it pretty much does sound like Yes We Can is
Thank you, Satan.
backwards.
You wouldn't believe the angry people that I've had emails from when I allowed this to be put on Facebook. So many people are angry about that.
That's, and again, to go back to just essentially just using these social networks as a way to spread information and not to stalk that girl you dated in high school.
right.
But, or to be stalked, I suppose. To push buttons and to make discussions start, and that is something I found. I've kind of made a mess of my whole Facebook page because it's a strange mix of family and friends and people
Sure.
I actually know and have known all my life, getting into arguments with people I've never met before who are just fans of Media Monarchy.
Sure.
I think that's exactly what we should be using places like Facebook for. And again, I don't spend a lot of time on message boards and things like that.
No.
Those usually devolve into, whoever calls someone Hitler first. I forget what that term's called.
Godwin.
The Godwin Law, that's right.
Yeah, I know about it because we always say, "Oh, Mr. Clyde, Godwin." Because I always use it as an argument sometimes.
So those were the little kids, and again, we even forget now that we're 2 years out from the most amazing, Madison Avenue propaganda campaign that we'd ever witnessed.
Oh yeah.
With all the little kids and all the little songs and
Praising der Leader.
praising der Führer as good little youth.
Yeah.
And again, folks, one of the articles we have up is a former Hitler youth essentially being a whistleblower now saying, do you guys not see that you're following the same exact path that we did?
Oh, we even have a sun symbol like Hitler had. It's called the Obama sun rising, blue, red, whatever. I mean, come on, people.
So this reverse speech, and again, the guest tonight at the lodge is David John Oates of reversespeech.com. What would you say to someone, and perhaps even a lot of myself, who says, man, this is crazy?
Well, I'll tell you. When I first met David, and I just did it as a joke, thinking, okay, this is going to be joking. But what had happened is I went to one of his seminars, and he does reversals with people right there. And he asks them, like, so is there something that about this, and they go, how did you know? Well, this reversal says this. I was at a seminar one time, and there was a guy who was from Mexico that was there attending. And he had a reversal that was in Spanish. It said, mi corazón está enferma. He actually said that in the reversal. And I said to the guy, is your heart sick? Are you, like, unhappy? He goes, oh, my God, no. He says, what, you heard of reversal? I go, it says your heart, mi corazón, my heart, está enferma, is sick. I said, your heart is sick. And he goes, oh, my God. He says, I just had open heart surgery a few weeks ago. And he says, this is my first outing since I've had open heart surgery, so maybe my heart is sick, or maybe it was sick. And so I was, like, blown away by that. And so there are many times I've been trying to find a way to pinpoint exactly what reverse speech is. I say it's an oracle of some kind, much like a Ouija board or something else, but it's coming out from you. And if you just give it a try, I mean, we can hear... he doesn't alter them, and anymore, he used to just focus on the reversal, but now he's allowed people to hear the gibberish before and then have the reversal jump out at them. And we were on KUFO the other morning with Marconi and Kid Chris. They demanded that we don't tell anybody what they're saying, and they can hear them. And if you can hear them in the gibberish, and if you can figure them out, then they're there. Those word formations are there, and the mind is trying to find a way to make sense of it all. So it is where dreams are made. It is the unconscious mind. It's an uncontrolled unconscious mind, and so we're finding a way to control it and figure out what people are thinking inside of themselves.
So does he just, in the sort of workshop situation, does he just record you saying anything?
Yeah, what he does is he's doing stuff with me now because many of your listeners may or may not know, but I'm a cancer survivor, but I was diagnosed having another tumor, which has me a little worried because I go in for tests again in November. And, for me now, cancer is something that I have to deal with because it pops up, or the fears pop up, or the scares pop up, and it's really difficult. But he's been working with me about my cancer, and one of the reversals I had in my reversals that he did was, we must destroy the snake. And David said, well, crikey, the snake means, and he does, I'm doing a bad Australian accent. He says, the snake actually means cancer. And I said, oh, that's convenient. He says, no, really, it means cancer. And he says, it means you must destroy the snake. You have to get rid of your cancer. That's part of your reversal. And it was funny because I kind of at first thought, yeah, it's convenient, David. It's a metaphor for cancer. But I was sitting in the studio last week at KUFO, and Mohawk Mike, who doesn't understand reverse speech at all and has told me many times that he doesn't, was sitting in the studio, and he heard that. And what did he do? He flashed a picture he had on his computer of the caduceus. And he says, what metaphor and meme is the snake? It's the caduceus. And what did they used to do to people that were sick? They used to cut a line in their hand, and then they would hold a stick out, and then they would find something, and they would twist the worm or the snake around the stick, and they would hold it in front of them and say, this will heal you. What was it that Moses did when the children of Israel were being attacked by vicious vipers? He held up a snake on a pole, and he said, this will heal you. The caduceus is a snake on a pole, which will heal you as
and
a
that,
vibration.
for folks, that's the medical symbol.
Right.
The two snakes intertwined around. What are they?
It's just the staff of Hermes or
Okay.
Tammuz or whomever your pantheon is. But the truth is that then when I saw that and David was in the studio, I go, oh, I get it now. It is the snake. The snake is what's killing me, and it needs to be removed from me, and that is the symbol of what doctors are. They're removing the snake from you. They're removing that disease from you. And so is David out of his mind? No, I don't think so. And there was another one too where I was talking about jobs and working, and he reversed it and says, I need the money. It said in my reversal, I need the money. And he goes, in 16 years, Clyde, that I've talked with you and worked with you, you've talked about how you've had hard times, you had bad times and good times. Now your unconscious mind is saying that you need money. And I guess I do. I do need money because I'm going through these tests, and I just lost my job that paid the bills. But I'm trying to build on my shows that I'm doing now to see if they can pay the bills. So yes, there are things in my subconscious that I can't control that wind up in these reversals, and this is what you're hearing when the politicians are speaking. Thank you, Satan. Thank you, Satan. What powers are giving Obama his power? What is he using? Is he a Satan worshiper? No, that doesn't mean he's a Satan worshiper. It means that there are powers within his unconscious mind that refers to Satan, and Satan is a metaphor for deceit. Satan is a metaphor for, so was he trying to deceive people by saying, yes, you can, or yes, we can? Obviously so, because, Jon Stewart just taken to task on his yes, we can. He said, it's yes, we can with conditions. It's not yes, we can do it. You're not as pragmatic as you thought you were. Are we okay here?
Was that on the show?
Yeah. He was on the show, and he basically went after him. He said, yes, we can, but with conditions, right? He says, yes, we can, but now it's going to take some time. See, he didn't say that when he was running for office.
No,
which is a deceit. So reverse speech, once again, proved. I mean, if you look at the history of reverse speech, the reason why David John Oates is even famous is because he actually was reversing President Bush Sr. And he had this reversal that said, Simone, Simone in the sand. And Dick Cheney sent him a letter, and he said, what have you got there? Because you know what Simone means? It's a word in the Middle East that means desert storm. And so Bush was talking about Desert Storm in his unconscious mind. And
Daddy Bush.
Yeah, Daddy Bush. And they called it Operation Desert Storm. Simone in the sand. The Simone is the Desert Storm. And it was in the sand. It was in his metaphors that he was talking about in his reversals.
And again, being, like I said, skeptical of this, your context of the way our eyesight works with the reversals and the flipping actually does shed a good bit of light on it.
Well, did you hear about that experiment that they actually found glasses that they were able to turn eyesight upside down? And they had them looking through these glasses, and they couldn't take them off, and they looked through them for like 6 weeks, and the brain actually turned the image right side up again. And when they took the glasses off, it went upside down, and the brain corrected it again. So the brain is constantly connecting or correcting the images and the words and the vocals we hear, and they're doing it both backwards and forwards. So there's something to what, don't know what it is yet, and in fact it's still theoretical in his thing, but something will have to be concrete about this, and that we can somehow dismiss it as just mere simulacrum or the brain finding some sort of pattern in the clouds. because it is there. It is in different languages, and it can be detected, and it's an amazing thing to just behold. It's more than just playing records backwards and hearing, here's to my sweet Satan. There's more to that.
And I think that really speaks to what, again, we say, that this is a war on consciousness, that all these things that go on tell you to take this pharmaceutical, take these medicines, you're not right.
Mm-hmm.
Those things are clouding what you've just now said, that our minds are the most powerful things that can adjust and can work to correct these things that go on, but not if you willingly put it to sleep.
See, you're right, and here's something else. Everybody believes that possession, and we're talking about this since Halloween, we talk about satanic things like possession. People believe that possession is not voluntary. It's voluntary. The devil can only get in you if you allow him to.
That's the same with Dracula.
Right.
You got to invite him in.
What is the name of that new movie that's out called Let Me In? You have to invite the demon in order for the demon to take over. If you don't, it won't bother you. And that's what people need to understand. Demons just don't voluntarily come in and enter into people's bodies and say, oh. They don't do that. You're inviting it in somehow, whether you're doing a lot of drugs, whether you're depressed, whether you're not doing things your health is bad, and you're allowing it to happen, you're ruining your life. Yeah, that's how they step in. If you believe in such things, if you believe in the supernatural, the supernatural's shown itself many times to me. But that is how it's done. It's not that just, this poor innocent girl just all of a sudden, got possessed by the devil. No, she was doing something to open herself up to that.
See, now, and that's something, if we were talking about The Exorcist, that's something that, again, in my conservative Christian upbringing, is they were playing with a Ouija board. That's how that happened. So, again, that tied into my upbringing, is you don't play with the occult.
Well, Ouija boards, though, when you look at the cult and the tools that are there for the occult, you can play with them. But always remember, there's a responsibility that comes with playing with them. And if you are doing it and you put up a wall of protection and you do it ritualistically, nothing can harm you. The reason why Ouija boards harm people is because you have a bunch of stupid teenagers that jump on a Ouija board and ask it stupid questions, and what you're basically doing is you're making 911 calls to the spirit world. And someone's going to show up, and they're going to get on the switchboard, and they're going to F with you if you don't know what you're doing. I've always said to myself, that's one of the things that I would like to do, is when I die, I would like to ask God to give me Ouija board duty, because I could teach kids a bunch of things about not effing with the spirit world. But, I use Ouija boards in seances. I've been a medium, and there's only one time that I had a problem with a Ouija board, and that was because I was doing a seance at a place called the Rose and the Raindrop. It was a funeral home. We had ghosts in there, and we had a demon. I didn't even know the name of the demon. It spelled its name out. The demon was called Obisuth. It showed up on the Ouija board, and the reason why Obisuth was a Mediterranean or a Mesopotamian demon that ate children out of the wombs of mothers. And the reason why that demon showed up is because one of the women that were there at the seance that we were having had been drinking, and she was pregnant. And so she had opened the gate. See, once again, let me in. You're drinking and you're harming your fetus. A demon shows up at a seance to take that fetus away from you.
This whole idea kind of reminds me of what my friend Richard Grove of TragedyandHope.com would say. Again, this is all a battle on our psyches. Is what kind of spam filters do we have on our mind?
Not too many.
What kind of virus protections do we have built up? So that's sort of the same thing you're talking about, whether you're talking about dissecting the news and trying to figure out exactly the story, or these things that are sort of inner space within.
It's all about, and you can look at it as being demon possession, you look at it as mental illness, and I know there's somebody out there on the internet that has a Clyde Lewis, you're an asshole video because they think they don't know the difference.